And that probably leads me to quite a nice question about inflection points. Did you always was that part of your growth strategy to give yourself the freedom to grow? And were there any points in looking back over the past 30 years where the business really did take off, and were there any things that you can identify that caused you to make that change?
Well, I think probably I can say that we've had growth every year since we've begun. But in some years that was negative growth. And so we have had
incredibly well put.
I think every company has its ups and downs, and we are certainly no exception. And we've had a couple of times when they're really crisis management. The first time that it happened after some fairly steady growth during the 1990s. In 2000, we had the tech bubble, particularly the IT and telecommunications bubble that burst. And right through the 1990s, we relied almost 100% on IT and telecoms workers for our daily bread. They were our customers, or they were all in that sector. Fortunately, and part of it was by design and part of it was by luck, we had branched out in the late 1990s into the oil and gas sector, which meant when the tech bubble burst, we had something to fall back on. But nonetheless, we lost over a period of very few months around 50% of our turnover, which then leveled out and stayed flat for about 3 years. So that was a bit trying, let's put it that way. And I think two things come out of that. First, diversify whenever you can see an opportunity, and if you can't see an opportunity, then have a look for it. Now, that doesn't mean doing a Nokia and moving from paper into mobile phones. You can diversify within the same industry in order to give yourself a broader client base, or you can diversify geographically in order to try and even out the crises that do arrive in some regions or some countries from time to time. There are lots of different possibilities where you can broaden your base of interest in order to help you ride problems when they come up. So diversify so that you can ride it out when necessary. And equally, when the crisis hits, sometimes it comes with very, very little warning. But have a look immediately at how you can preserve your assets during that period of time. And there are areas of the world, and I'm thinking particularly of the US, where when you have a loss of business, the first reaction is to cut staff. And I think that can be not always the right thing to do. Obviously, if things are absolutely dreadful, then sometimes you need to reduce your workforce, and we have done it on one occasion. But we've also tried wherever we can, even when there are downturns, to maintain our workforce, because we understand just how much it costs, first to find good people, but secondly to train them to the level where they've got to, and the cost of replacing them is huge, quite apart from the human cost, which we try and avoid. So I think we did that, and in that first period we didn't lose any staff as a result, and we rode it out for 3 years. We did a lot of marketing during that time, and then when things started ticking up in 2004, then we made back that 50% loss within a period of about 9 months as a result of just hanging on and doing some preparation during the lean times of the early 2000s.
Oh wow! Okay.
Yeah, so that was a market pressure. The other major hit was in 2011 when we based in Switzerland. Our base currency is Swiss francs, and in 2011 the main currencies in which we were working, dollars, pounds and euros, dropped around 40% against the Swiss franc. That meant even though we were growing in terms of the number of clients that we had and growing in local currency terms, we lost again 40 to 45% of our turnover pretty much overnight, and turned from a profit-making business into a business that was loss-making. And it was at that point where we had to to shed some staff in order to weather that. And that's purely exchange rates. We were a growing business, but the exchange rates hit us hard. And so that brings me really to the next thing, and that is to try and anticipate where your risk lies. And it may not just be a customer risk or a product risk. There are other things in the market over which you have absolutely no control, which can hit hard if something goes wrong. And one of those, as we found out, was currency and exchange rates and things like that. We were no stranger to that. We had been doing some very effective treasury management over the years, but nonetheless, that hit was a big one. But fortunately, we managed to weather that, and things went on and up after a couple of years when we managed to pick up and start working again with the new exchange rate levels.